Start dancing around. I ain't going up in there.
Who wants to go in there?
Nobody wants to, but if you want to get the victory, you got to go through.
Amen.
Amen.
You got to go through.
Amen.
I'm telling you, God's sick and tired of a bunch of sissy Christians.
Good stuff.
God's getting tired of sissies.
Yeah.
Thank God for His grace and mercy. He might just take you unfinished, but I sure don't want to go unfinished. Are you listening to me? Blessed is the man that endures temptation, for when he is tried, he shall receive a crown of life. Ooh. Listen to this. When he is tried, when he has come through the shadow, when he has gone through the valley, listen to me. When he has gone through, he receives a crown. You don't receive a crown dancing around on the edge and saying, ain't no way I'm going in there. I said, you don't receive a crown by standing around saying, I'm not going, I'm afraid. Well, I'm going to tell you something. You'd be stupid if you weren't afraid, but then you could be like David and said, I'll fear not, for thou art with me.
Amen.
I'm not saying it's not going to be scary. But then when you look around and see Jesus is leading the way, you can say, oh, I'm behind you. See, that's the key, folks. That's the key. You ever seen somebody that was just so brave they walked right through the crowd, and that little weak Barney Fife type guy got right behind Andy and stand real close to Andy? I'll never forget my buddy Jim Earl. We called him Big Earl. I just married his daughter just recently. Big Earl was, we were all small. We were 18, 19 years old. We were like, 170, 180 pounds. I know it's hard to believe I was ever that small, but I was. But Earl was a big old boy. I remember my alternator went out of my car and on my van, and my buddy Ronnie was out there trying to take it loose and fix it. And Doug's back there helping him. Big Earl come up. And we were all, we weren't in our right minds, let's put it that way. And Earl come up and said, move out of the way, let me look. And Doug said, no, man, get out of here. He said, get out of the way. And Doug literally ran around me and stood behind me and said, don't let him get me. See, don't let him get me. I'm glad Doug's not here to hear this, because he'd be upset me telling that. But see, that's the way we should be, folks. We should get behind Jesus so close that when we're walking into that valley, though the shadow of death is all around and creepiness and wickedness is lurking around every corner, I'm hanging right on to Jesus. I'm so close to Jesus that they can't get to me.
Blessed is he who walks after the Spirit, meaning behind.
Blessed is they that walk after the Spirit. Amen. That's a good point. Walk behind. See, too many times we're trying to lead Jesus. We're trying to tell Jesus what's best for us.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
I said we're trying to tell Jesus what's best for us.
I don't think so.
But it says, blessed is the man that endures temptation, for when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life, which the Lord hath promised to them that love him. I'm going to tell you something. Do you really love him?
Yes. Yes.
I'm asking everybody this. Do you really love him?
Yes.
Do you really love him?
Yes.
Do you really love him?
Yes.
Do you?
Yes.
Do you? Everybody answer but you. Do you love him? Then follow him. Follow him. Walk close to him. Let him lead you. He might take you into some of the most dangerous places that you would ever want to see, but he's with you. I keep reminding myself of this book, this here book. This is the one about heaven. This is the Divine Revelation of Heaven by Mary Kay Baxter, but she had one before that, the Divine Revelation of Hell. And the Lord told her He was going to take her into hell because He wanted her to go back and warn people not to come to this awful place. And she said when she went in there, she was so scared because there was so much vile and corrupt and the stench and, just wickedness. She said she stood right next to Jesus. He told her, don't worry, I'm with you. See, that's the key. No matter what we go through, no matter what difficulty we go through, no matter what trial we go through, you got to go with Jesus. Amen. If He don't take you there, then don't go. We walked down there, Brother Rob Miller and I, we went down to West Virginia, and it was like, you don't want to go to the shadow of the Valley of Shadow of Death, don't go down to Charleston, West Virginia. This place was awful. I'm talking about houses that were falling apart, worse than Logan. You know how bad Logan is. It's worse than Logan, worse than Draper. Well, maybe about like Draper. Walked up and a lady sitting there. She looked like she'd been crying. I walked up to her and started talking to her. I said, can I pray with you? She ain't no prayer going to help me. I said, wait a minute. What God do you serve? Because the God I serve will surely help you. We started praying for her and tears started falling down her face. It seemed like everyone we talked to, tears falling down her face. But the reason I brought all this up, I'm not just saying this to say, hey, we went into the valley of the shadow of death. No. This is nowhere close to the shadow of the valley of the shadow of death. But it was pretty bad. But when we went in, we went over to this church, and we asked this church, Brother Rob asked this church, could we park there? The guy said no. He said, we're going through the streets to preach the gospel, to try to win people to Jesus. I knew this man was he said he was part of the shelter that was there. I knew he wasn't a Christian, but he said, no, you can't park here. So we go across the street at a clothing store. And Rob walks in, Brother Rob and I walked in, and he asked the man, he said, sir, we're Christians. He said, and we just come down here. He said, I was down here a few weeks ago, and I just seen the degradation and the wickedness and the vileness in this neighborhood. And said, we just come down here to tell people about Jesus. And that man said, well, that's a good work. You can park here, son, anytime you want. He said, that's a good work. He said, but you be careful.
Amen.
The other man says, yeah, man, be careful. It's rough through here. Lady said, yeah, be careful. We walked up through there. We went down, met a young man, walked over, met three men sitting on the porch. Man said, man, after a conversation, he said, man, it's bad through here. You be careful coming through here. He said, we let them sit here on our stoop. We're kind of a place of refuge for them. So we try to help them out when they're in need, when they're trouble, when they're hungry. We'll give them a sandwich. Amen. But the point I'm trying to make is they kept telling us, be careful down here. But I'm going to tell you something. Two white boys on a hot October night. I wore a pair of jeans and it was so hot I took them all and put on a pair of shorts because it was just too hot. We're walking down the street in a t-shirt and jeans and shorts, talking to people about Jesus, handing them out tracts. You know what? They didn't care that we didn't have a three-piece suit on. They didn't care that we had shorts on. All they wanted to know is they wanted hope. Yes. Are you listening to me? Mm-hmm. When you're going with Jesus, you don't have to fear where you're at. Ain't nobody going to bother you when Jesus is with you. Right. Amen? Right. Amen. I'm not going to hold you too much longer. In Romans chapter 12:12 it says, rejoicing in hope, patient in tribulation, continued instant in prayer. I like that. Do you hear what it said? Rejoicing in hope, patient in tribulation, continuing instant in prayer. You know what that means? Instant in prayer? I mean, you can start praying at any instant. I love history. You all know that I love history. And I watched it years ago, and I started watching it again recently, but I just don't seem to have time to watch that much TV anymore. But I was watching years ago. I had my mother recorded on VHS, so that tells you how long ago it was.